Before now, did you know that 23% of private and government schools in the world require students to wear school uniforms? I have been to schools that wear school uniforms and schools that do not wear school uniforms. And I can tell you today that school uniforms are good for students. From research findings, more than 80% of students don't like school uniforms, but many schools implement a uniform policy. For example, in Thailand, it is a government policy that students from primary and secondary schools wear school uniforms. Firstly, school uniforms save time. From my personal experience, it took me more than 25 minutes to prepare for schools that don't require school uniforms, and only took me less than 10 minutes to prepare for schools that require school uniforms. By this, I'm submitting that school uniforms are good for students. Secondly, school uniforms help to narrow the gap between students from rich and poor backgrounds. In schools that don't require school uniform, students from rich background easily can purchase expensive clothing to school, and as such, they tend to bully students from poor background who cannot possess this expensive clothing. As such, school uniforms are very important because they come to wipe away this kind of inequality in the school environment. Thirdly, school uniforms help to reduce classroom distraction. Students from rich background can easily buy themselves expensive clothing, and since students from poor background cannot possess this kind of expensive clothing, they tend to be bullied by these students from rich background. It's even worse when it comes to some female students. They wear dresses that expose sensitive parts of their body, and as such worsen the case of classroom distraction. By this, I'm submitting that school uniforms are good for students. Finally, school uniforms are good for students because they save time, narrow the gap between students from rich and poor backgrounds, and help to reduce classroom distraction. I hope this information has helped you to have a better view of why school uniforms are good for students. Thank you.